Swain, touchdown.
It's time. It's time. It's Swain Event time.
My man.
It is time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. This is real sports talk for the real sports fan. Talk to him, Swain.
Get into his house and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. 865-255-03, Garza Law Hotline. The text box, BeattyChevrolet.com, where you can throw in comments, questions there on your free Swain Event app. I am Jason Swain, live in the Low T Center studio. Hope everyone is having a great Tuesday, a great morning. My man Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. Man, how does it feel to be back, Ben McKee? Like you back, man. Like you never left, man. How does it feel?
It feels tiring. is what it feels like because of everything going on with Tennessee athletics, between a new baseball coach, Tennessee football, Tennessee basketball getting underway. It's very tiring, but no, it feels good. I'm glad to be tired because of work, and I put work in air quotes because I'm blessed to be able to do what I do. If you would have told 10-year-old Ben that this is what he was going to do, he would have been ecstatic, and glad to be tired from covering Tennessee athletics and talking Tennessee athletics, and not tired from chemo. So it's the little things in life, like being able to get back to taking my kids to daycare each morning that I wasn't able to do for 2 months, just little things like that. So it feels really, really good. There's a lot going on, and I constantly feel like I'm drowning and behind on everything because there's so much going on. But, not to get too sappy, but I sat in that hospital for 2 months, and most days I looked out the window, and from the window I could see the front of Neyland Stadium. I could see the Lindsey Nelson Stadium construction. I could see campus, and I just was itching to get back. So to finally be able to get back on campus and not have to stare at campus through a hospital window it feels really good.
Well, the chips are falling for you, my man, because Tennessee hired themselves a baseball coach. I think we all knew that was the right choice to promote Josh Elander and make him the head coach. Tennessee went out and beat Kentucky. In the second half, the game got out of hand for Kentucky. Kentucky fans hit the exits, and offensively just was an explosion. 3 receivers going over 100 yards. Joey Aguilar was dang near perfect. He had a 242.9 passer rating, 77%. Ball hit the ground only 6 times. It was great offensively. We'll get to the defense being at some point, but
do we have to?
It's part of the game, right?
It is a third of the game. Can we talk special teams instead?
What happened in the special teams? Yeah, it was all right. Yeah,
Did really anything happen special teams?
Not a lot of punting.
Gilbert didn't kick a field goal. Jackson Ross had a couple of punts, had one nice one I recall.
Yeah. So
it was a clean operation. I guess the fact that there's nothing to talk about on special teams is a great thing.
Yeah. No critical errors there on special teams, but hey, you needed to get this win after coming off a tough loss to Alabama, and then the Kentucky game being sandwiched in between Bama and Oklahoma, and that Oklahoma game is going to be physical. So it's dark mode. It's a night game, first one of the year. It's going to be special, and I think for the crowd to be special, I think the play has to be good too, especially early to help this crowd be in it, stay in it. I thought the Arkansas game was a little disappointing, honestly, from the crowd volume. But I understand because every time it was third down and long, well, third down seemed like Arkansas picked it up, and that's a roller coaster for fans. That man, sometimes you don't even want to get on. Music starts to play on third down. You're into it early, and then by the second quarter, you're like, psh, I mean, we've given up this third down, that third down, this one. So what's the point? So you got to give the fans good vibes with third down conversion on defense and getting off the football field. But I mean, I think the biggest news, Ben, is Josh Elander being named head coach. And we talked about this Thursday when Frank Anderson was named the interim, and felt like that this was the best move. I mean, to go out, talk to other coaches, to have a quick nationwide search, to then come back around and hire Josh Elander, I thought was better for Josh Elander. And then to have all the players there in attendance, you see why this program has been special and why those players, former players, love Josh Elander the way that he does. And, I mean, he was responsible for a lot of the success hitting home runs and offense. He's a recruiting coordinator, so he has relationships with those recruits. We know what the impact Tony Vitello had. But, Ben, your overall thoughts on the process to get to where we are, Josh Elander being named head coach. And I still can't believe how negative things turned and the false narratives that was out there and how unfair Lady Vols were treated. And I'm not going to sit here and debunk stuff because I'm not going to throw people under the bus, but it was really unfortunate that so many untrue things were being shared, and I'm just glad we can move past it, and that everything is good now from the baseball standpoint. But anyways, your perspective, your outlook, your overall thoughts on the hire.
Well, I will quickly add that you can throw Danny White into that as well in terms of just how outrageous the narrative became. It's not that you can't question or wonder or criticize some things here and there with Danny White. You absolutely can, but for the narrative to swing so far in one direction, in such a negative direction, when Danny White has done so many great things for Tennessee's athletic department the last several years, I would throw him into that category as well. And I do think it's fair to say that Danny White has been unfairly treated. Again, there are things you can criticize. I'm not at all saying that there's not, or maybe even criticize, not the right word, but question and wonder about. You and I did that last week on the show, just talking through some things. Yeah. But to act like you don't want him as your athletic director is pretty outrageous, I think, when you look at the success on the field, on the court, on the diamond, so on and so forth. And then yesterday in Danny White's media availability, after Josh Elander spoke, he slipped in the fact that I believe he said Tennessee was 10th in the SEC in its budget when he first arrived at Tennessee, and they were operating with $100 and something million. I don't have the exact quote in front of me, so forgive me. But they were towards the bottom of the SEC, and that was a 14-team SEC before Texas and Oklahoma even got into the league. And he said now they're second in the SEC and working with a budget over $300 million, second in the SEC behind Texas. And he slipped in a little comment saying, and we're nipping at Texas's heels as well. So when you look at the financial aspect, you look at all the renovations on campus, you look at all the winning, to act like you don't want Danny White as your athletic director after the decade of dysfunction, the decade and a half of dysfunction that we all witnessed, I think is pretty extreme as well, in addition to the Lady Vols. But Josh Elander, it just made sense. It was the only thing that made sense for two reasons, and it's the reasons we talked about last week. On one hand, he is more than qualified as a candidate. He can recruit. He can develop. He's one of the best hitting coaches in the country. He develops catchers, working with catchers because he's a former catcher himself at a high level. Back in 2013, I believe it was, he was the Atlanta Braves minor league player of the year, if I recall that correctly. And then some injuries derailed his playing career. So he's proven he has a track record, he has a resume as a player, as a coach. And then what's been obvious, which it was already known, but now I think what the common fan now realizes as they have learned more about Josh Elander, the players absolutely adore him. They adore him as much as they adored Tony Vitello. It just looks different because the two have different personalities. You look at the former players, you look at the current players. I had Jared Dickey on with myself and Will Heflin on the Diamond Balls podcast about an hour after the news broke, and just to pick Jared Dickey's brain about Josh Elander, the hitting coach, the assistant coach, the mentor, and why he thinks he's going to be a great head coach and why so many former players were stumping for Josh. And Dickey got emotional because Dickey had a really rough true freshman year. He's been vocal about his mental health struggles, and Dickey was very emotional in recalling just how much Josh Elander helped him through that time when he was redshirting. And that's just one example of Josh Elander being a great player's coach. So on one hand, he's more than qualified just as a baseball coach and was more than deserving of any head coaching opportunity, even in the SEC, being his first head coaching job. But then just because of the timeline of everything, it made all the sense in the world. And Tennessee's going to be able to maintain a level of continuity that has been a key ingredient for Tennessee under Tony Vitello. You get to keep your coaching staff that is still one of the best in the country intact. You keep your roster intact when portal season rolls around after the upcoming season. Even if you were able to hire a great head coach, it's a different head coach. It's a different personality. They're going to want different players. In today's day and age of the portal, there's going to be a lot of roster turnover. So you keep your roster intact. That is very, very talented. And then your recruiting classes, your 26 recruiting class and your 27 recruiting class, that is top 2, top 3 in the country, and maybe not 2 or 3, you get to keep that intact for the most part as well. So just the timing of it really pointed to all the sense in the world. And kudos to Danny White. I think he did his job for making sure that no stone was left uncovered. Or making sure every stone was uncovered to make sure that Josh Elander was the right guy for the job. But kudos to him for making that decision and doing so pretty quickly, given the timing of it all, because you don't want to let Josh Elander slip away and him go to a different SEC program and him win there, and you be kicking yourself for that down the road. So it's an excellent hire, and I think it makes all the sense in the world for all those reasons I just mentioned.
Hey, because he's a first-time head coach, you're able to save some money too. I mean, you go from paying a baseball coach, $3 million plus to $1 million. But
give it to the secondary, baby.
Huh?
Give it to the secondary. Isn't that what the Tennessee football fans have been saying? Take that $2 million and go find you a safety,
bro. That's what I've been saying. I mean, I was like, yo, man, and you take that $2 million. And then you get that $3 million from Tony Vitello in the San Francisco Giants, and then you're cooking with some gas, man.
You can go get you a linebacker. You can get you a corner.
You need to address the defense, however way you see fit, whether it's personnel or whatever. Like you got to fix the defense, man.
Or you can go get the next Candace Parker. Since Danny White takes all of the baseball program's money and gives it to the Lady Vols, you can go get the next Candace Parker.
Goodness gracious, man. That was so embarrassing.
But what are your thoughts on Josh Elander getting promoted? What was your reaction to his press conference yesterday? Maybe that's the better question. I know how you feel about them promoting him. What was your reaction to your first probably extended amount of time of listening to him speak?
I was ready to run through a brick wall for him. I mean, I was ready to feel feel some ground balls.
We'd stick you out. We'd stick you out in center field, my man.
I don't know, man. I got that first base body right now, so just put me at first
Not
base.
not while you were playing. I bet you would have been a heck of a center fielder.
I don't know if I got that.
Been on your Hunter Ensley.
Oh yeah. I would run into a wall, man, for Josh Elander. I run through that thing, man. Again, you just see why he is loved the way that he's loved, and man, that press conference was special, man. Tennessee's a special place for a lot of special people that care about it, and you don't have to be from Tennessee. You don't have to grow up as a Tennessee fan to embrace Tennessee and love this place like you've always lived here. And I love the press conference. Day one, I thought he should have been the coach. I thought it was an easy decision for Danny White, and man, I'm glad that he was able to make it as quickly as he did, because I was traveling to Lexington when the news came out, and I talked to you on the phone because I'm not gonna be sitting there texting and strolling the timeline while I'm driving.
Especially through those Kentucky roads.
Man. So I didn't really catch it right when it happened. I got like a notification on my watch that Elander was hired. But then you and I talked, and then I know Danny White was going to talk to Brent Hubbs right before the Tennessee-Kentucky football game. I saw him come in just like I see him every away game, and the AD, they have their own area right there, usually next to our radio booth. And so I usually see him chop it up here or there, sometimes with him, just like I would do, home game. But I didn't get a chance to talk to him Kentucky game because I guess he was interviewing with Huz, but I didn't get a chance to hear it live. But, man, glad that he was able to do that. And what people need to understand is, like, he prefers to do those interviews because he wants to be asked questions so he can be transparent with the fan base and for the fan base to know what's going on. Like, that's his idea. That's what he wants to do. And so, when I hear some of the stuff pointing his direction, I kind of just shake my head and laugh because it's just not true. And it's people in their feelings and letting emotions take over and cover up, facts. I just never really been able to do that. Like, I can separate.
Well, I think the thing is, let me throw this thought at you. I think what it is, and I may have said this last week, or I told somebody this. It may not have been. It may have been on a phone call with somebody. I think people get the wrong impression of Danny because he's not afraid to make the decision that pisses people off. I mean, even yesterday when he was speaking to the media after the press conference, when he was fielding questions, somebody asked him if I believe it was, did the former players on social media, did that sway you? Did the fans wanting Josh Elander, did that sway you? And he very quickly was like, absolutely not. I'm not going to allow, I mean, he said it. I'm not going to allow the fans to sway my decision of what I think is best for this athletic department, because I have to view things objectively. And I believe that's what he was alluding to. That's just me reading into his comment that I'm not going to allow the fans to sway my decision. I think that is why he rubs people the wrong way at times, is because he's not afraid to make the decision that really ticks people off. If he feels like it is the best decision for Tennessee athletics, he is going to make that decision. And I think a perfect example of that is the price of tickets and the fees that have been implemented here and there. Some folks over at Thompson Bowling who had been grandfathered in to some seats and they had been moved, and that grandfathering in now no longer exists. And Rick Barnes said it in his press conference, taken up for Danny as well. Like, I feel bad for those people, but that doesn't mean that Danny's making the wrong decision. I mentioned that now Tennessee, according to Danny White, is operating with a budget over $300 million and nipping at the heels of Texas.
That's insane.
For number one in the SEC. The reason that is happening is because he makes those decisions with ticketing and fees, moving people, those unpopular decisions that will rub people the wrong way and make them not a fan of him long term. I think that is why you get the reaction from him the way that you do. Is because he's the one that has to make the decisions that is best for the athletic department that nobody is going to like.
Yeah. Well, some decisions got to be made about this defense with the football team. And I know Rick Barnes appreciates how Danny basically leaves him alone. I mean, there are some coaches that want to talk to their AD and need that affirmation from their AD. Rick Barnes don't need all that. he good. Hey, give me my resources, let me do my thing, and that's what I prefer. And there's other coaches that prefer it differently. Everyone is different, but I know Danny has been, hands off when it comes to personnel and letting a coach do their thing. But that defense, it's time for everybody to step in and take a hard look at what's going on and make some adjustments and make some changes, because I'm not looking at just this year, Ben. Next year, you're going to have a first-year young quarterback starting, more than likely. Although Josh Heupel has been more successful here at Tennessee with old head quarterbacks, with Hendon and Joe Milton and now Joey Aguilar. But next year, he's going to have a first-year starter who's going to be a young puppy. And the last thing you want is a defense looking the way it's been looking. That is not going to be a good combination.
Because why was Nico take all the off the field stuff with Nico away? Why was Nico able to lead Tennessee to the playoffs as a first-year starting quarterback?
Yeah, the defense led the team to the playoffs. Nico
Yes.
so happened to be the quarterback. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and that's probably going to be the winning formula for you once again, unless a George McIntyre or a Faison Brandon is just going to be really, really special, which I think everybody thinks they will be special, but how quickly can they reach their potential? Because they will go through growing pains, just like Nico went through growing pains.
Yep. It's part of the growth process. All right, let's get to the phones. Garza Law Hotline. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Turkey Man.
How we doing?
Good, man.
Good to see you
Hope
guys
you are,
together. Yeah, I'm doing good. It's raining, but it's a good day. Ben, good to see you, my man. Well,
Good to hear you, Turkey Man.
You're on the subject I was wanting to talk about this morning is the defense. I just I could see a glimmer of hope by the turnovers they get and scoring from off of turnovers. The defense in some spots play really hard, really looks good, but then lack of effort shows up when you quit running. You give up on the tackle. It's missing that you need to have a really good defense, and I think it's personnel is not sold out. I see too much of that not giving it all, as we like to ask. What's the lack of effort? Why is there lack of effort in certain players, and why are we allowed to play those players? That's the only choice we got. Is it not better to bill for take somebody that would follow instructions and give all y'all? What's your take on this, Swain?
Woo, Turkey Man. Boy, and man, it's good to hear you, man. Thank you for the phone call, my brother. Here's the issue, and I think it's pretty clear. I mean, I don't think I'm uncovering anything that's earth-shattering here. You had a player that didn't show up to stuff during the summer. Normally, that player would not even be on the team. But Boo Carter was allowed to work himself back on the team. And we've seen the disconnect when he's out there on the football field. You see his ability to make plays, but you also don't see the effort that you saw last year from him when he was a true freshman. And that impacts, I think, your defense. Here's a guy that got a big-time raise through NIL. When he got his raise, you had Ricky Gibson that was like, I'm thinking about hitting this portal. And so you certainly understand why he thought about hitting the portal, because all these players are seeing how Boo Carter was carrying himself. And you brought him back because you needed him, number one. Number two, probably wanted to not give up on him. There's players that are better inside the football program than outside the football program. You know, you worry about what they're going to get into and the company they're going to keep. And I've been a part of a program where we had guys get multiple chances because our coach staff didn't want to put that young man in a position to get himself in trouble when football was removed from his life. But there is a certain time where you got to make the decision that's best for your football program. You've had injuries with the secondary, and so that's limited your options. The reason why guys are continuing to play, because you don't have anybody else. Like Tennessee at one point against Kentucky, man, was playing walk-on William Wright at corner and true freshman Ty Redmond. And then you had a simple screen pass go for 50, 60, 70 yards. And that's why personnel matters. And so it's a tough position to be in, but that's why I said, like, all hands are going to need to be on deck this offseason to correct the defensive personnel and the defensive philosophy. And everything defense needs to be checked, because you can't have a defense like this next year. Like, the defense next year has to be, at minimum, 75% better. It don't have to be like last year's defense, but, man, it better be 75% better than it is now because of the quarterback situation next year. And I hate to put this much energy into defense and conversation to defense when you look at the offense, considering we won the football game and how great they played. But this has been an issue all season long, and you're not going to get away from this conversation.
And 3 of the next 4 quarterbacks, John Mateer, scares you if you're a Tennessee fan. Yeah. I was on an Oklahoma podcast last night, and at the beginning of them having me on, they were I forget the exact wording of the question, but it was essentially, tell me about this Tennessee football team. And they were, man, Joey Aguilar looks like a lot of fun. I said, are you asking as a Tennessee fan, or are you asking as an Oklahoma fan that wants to know what they need to be worried about this weekend? And my point was, because here on a Monday, after everything Joey Aguilar and the receivers did, the topic of conversation is how terrible the defense is. So it is unfortunate, but I think the reason that it is such a topic of conversation, not only has it been just so bad, but you look ahead, John Mateer, DJ Lagway, without Billy Napier, and I don't want to say that Lagway is on the same level as Mateer and Pavia right now, but like, would it be? What's that?
He's capable.
Yes, that's my point.
Yeah.
It would not be the most surprising thing if you roll into Gainesville and Lagway carves you up, especially with the way your defense has been playing. So this team, it can't afford to lose another game if it wants to make the college football playoffs. It has to win out, and you're relying on a defense that can't stop a nosebleed to stop three really talented quarterbacks. So that is why it is such a topic of conversation. I think on top of just why it has been so bad, because you know what's coming around the corner, and you don't have any confidence that it's going to be able to help the offense out, because the offense is good enough to where you can do some damage here down the stretch and go win a college football playoff game. Not just make the playoffs, but go win a playoff game. So I think it's frustrating from that standpoint. And you mentioned something that I was going to as well, when you said it has to be all hands on deck this offseason, because the problem is, and what scares you if you're a Tennessee fan, is it's not just one issue. There's a lot of issues on the defensive side of the ball with several guys not taking the steps that they need to in their career. I don't think some guys have been developed. Now, is that development on the coach's part, or is that a missed evaluation coming out of high school? We touched on that a little bit last week as well, because you look at the corner situation and you understand what the issue is. You don't have Ricky Gibson. You don't have Jamal McCoy. Colton Hood goes down with a lower body injury against Kentucky. Let's see what his availability looks like this weekend. You can give them some grace at corner, but why is your safety play so terrible? Why does it seem like you cannot find a safety out of the high school ranks? I mean, what high school safety have they gotten that has turned into a player for them? Because the only two that I think have played well have been Theo Jackson, who was awesome as a senior, and then Will Brooks. I mean, Jalen McCullough didn't even have that great of a senior year. His best football has been played with the Rams, not with the Vols. He didn't have a great senior year like Theo Jackson. He's gotten better since he left. And then, I mean, Jacoby Thomas was okay at times, but I don't think, I know fans are, why'd you let Jacoby Thomas leave? And I agree, like, he's better than what you have now, but it's not like he was some great safety either.
I mean, he was
so
behind Will Brooks.
It's been Will Brooks and senior year of Theo Jackson. So that's I think what scares you when you talk about being all hands on deck. I totally agree, because I think there's a lot of question marks.
865-255-03. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Morning, Swain.
What up?
Morning,
what up?
Ben.
Is this Dustin?
It's Caleb.
Caleb.
It's Caleb.
Hey, Caleb.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, real quick, I just want to say something to Ben before I get into the comment. Ben, been praying for you, man, and your family, your wife and your kids and everything, man. And I was reading the Word this morning, and this one verse kind of got me thinking about you, man. It says, I will not leave you comfortless, I'll come to you. And that was John 14:18, man. So just want you to know that you're in our thoughts and prayers, and we know you got this, man. Just wanted to say that to you real quick before diving into the football talk.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that more than you know, my man.
I appreciate it, brother. Always praying for y'all. Real quick, man. Swain, it's somewhat been a little frustrating this season. I mean, obviously it's way better than the decade and a half that we had of just turmoil and all that. And I know that we're on the right track with Heupel. I'm not really mad at Heupel or Danny White, and I don't want to get rid of Tim Banks or anything like that. But, man, the Jimmies and Joes is so important. And I know you talked about it during the offseason about just how important recruiting is, because, you know, Tennessee, what I'm noticing, and you said it a couple of weeks ago when I said I was kind of frustrated about the third down defense, there's really nobody else you can put there. You know, I mean, we're so injured in so many areas, and our depth, unfortunately, is just not there. And I do think that this offseason, that has to be a big focus, and I get it, man. It's frustrating because we're so close, but we just can't seem to take that next step. You know, like, we haven't won an SEC championship in how long? We haven't made it to the national championship. I know that we made it to the playoff last year, but it's like what Ben just said, man, I want to go and win, you know, and being competitive. And I think we're on the right track. I mean, if that stat's real about Danny White getting us to second in money, kind of eyeing at first and stuff, that's great, man. That's what you need for recruits. But it's just going to have to take patience, guys. And it is frustrating because when you look at Florida, you know, DJ Langway, man, he could go off on us. I mean, we have our secondary right now. There's a lot of holes in it, and the Boo Carter thing. It's like, you know, I get forgiving the kid, giving them other chances and stuff, but when you see that kind of effort, it's just like, well, should we give you a pass? Like, and I'm not just trying to make it just about him and being personal and stuff, but it's just like, man, I love this university, and everybody that listens to this call, man, we love Tennessee. You know, we live for this. I'm a 35-year-old man. I drive a truck. I got a wife and 3 kids, but on Saturdays, you know, man, this is what I think about all week. So I'll hang up and listen, guys. Thank you so much for your time and taking the call. And Ben, again, man, praying for you always, brother. Have a good.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Caleb. Man, A+ call. Appreciate that, Ben. Your thoughts on Caleb's comments?
Well, I totally agree. I totally agree. I think that, you know, there's no reason to be out on Josh Heupel or anything like that, but there's some things that need to get corrected this offseason, whether the month of November goes smoothly or not, because I think if they win out in November and do make the playoffs, it's not going to be because of the defense. It's going to be because they're winning shootouts. It's going to be because they're winning 42-38 or 35-32 or something like that. It's not going to be because the defense just changed overnight. At least that would be shocking to me, because I don't think that they have the personnel to do so. And I was going to say on the Boo Carter thing earlier when I went off on my tangent about the safeties to Turkey Man's call. I will say that I don't think the defense as a whole is not playing with effort. I think Boo Carter is not playing with effort. I don't want to lump Boo Carter into the rest of his teammates. Jeremiah Telander is playing with effort. Arion Carter is playing with effort. They're just not always making the right play. Edris Farouk is absolutely playing with effort. He had a horrible angle on that screenplay that you mentioned that Kendrick Law took like 70 yards to the house, but he wasn't loafing to the football. He was attacking the football. He just unfortunately took an awful angle to the football. So I will say that I don't want to. Boo Carter needs to be separated from the rest of the defense, in my opinion, because I do think they're playing hard. I just don't think they're playing well.
So my comments have nothing to do with whether I like or dislike someone. I just feel like I need to put that out there. It's really how I approach it anyways every single day. But I just need to remind folks. 2013, we hired Butch Jones, and during that time, Florida was not the same Florida that we saw under Urban Meyer. Georgia had not peaked to where they are right now. I mean, Georgia's always been a sleeping giant, but Georgia hadn't quite figured it out. And I don't know if you remember this conversation, Ben, because it was you and me and Stokes, I want to say. And I was like, yo, man, this is the window. This is the window, man. You got to take advantage of this stuff now, because if you don't, like, Georgia and Florida ain't going to be sorry long. Like, this is the window. You got to take advantage of it. And we didn't. And then we saw what happened with missed opportunities during Butch Jones' tenure, and then with Pruitt. Well, we're in the same position. Because look around the country. Coaches out here getting fired and getting buyouts of $50+ million. These administrators and these boosters, they are not playing anymore. They ain't okay with being mediocre. They are not okay with just winning 8 or 9 games. They're not cool with it. So look at LSU. You know what they about to do. Look at Florida. They have struggled and messed up with their hires, and at some point they're gonna get it right. Auburn, I'm waiting on them to do something because the AD sure ain't talking to Hugh Freeze, so we know what's about to happen there. Look at Penn State. Look around the country. Mediocre is not okay. And so Tennessee, this is the window that we need to take advantage of, and we can't do that by missing when it comes to personnel or missing when it comes to whoever's doing the teaching or the coaching. Everything is on the table is what I'm saying. Like, everything should be evaluated, because what's going to happen is you're going to get passed up again. And I don't want that to happen. But you can see like the writing on the wall. Like, LSU ain't okay with just winning 9 games. And think about how excited we have been about, winning 9 games. We won 10 games and went to the college football playoff. LSU is about to pay Brian Kelly $50 million, and he's won 9 games on average since he's been there. And so this is just our time to take a strong step forward. You're very appreciative and very happy with Josh Heupel and what he has done during his time here. But it is time to take a step forward. Because if you don't take a step forward, there's going to be other schools that's going to take it for us and pass us. And so this is a time, man. Look at Indiana. I mean, in 2 years, look what they're doing. I know that their schedule is not as tough as Tennessee's schedule, but I know how competitive Danny White is, and I know how much winning matters to him, and I know what type of resources he's put into these programs to win. And I think this offseason, we got to do what it takes to fix football.
You're not raising the budget and implementing the talent fee, and I mean, don't get it twisted. They're still spending a lot of money to bring in transfers and recruits. It's not like they have not been spending money. They've been spending a lot of money, and you're not doing all those things and gathering the resources, committing the resources to go win 9 games and barely miss the playoffs. That's a fine season, but a fine season is not good enough at Tennessee. Something that we've talked about often over the years as Tennessee got away from itself is, winning last season is not the standard at Tennessee. It wasn't a failure of a season. I don't really subscribe to the championship or bust mentality. But the standard at Tennessee is to win championships, not to get into the playoffs and then get your butt kicked. So even if last season wasn't a failure per se, it also did not meet the standard because to the last phone call, the standard is playing for SEC championships, winning SEC championships, winning playoff games, and truly being competitive in the national championship hunt. And when was the last time Tennessee could truly say that?
Well, last year you backed into the playoffs. I mean, first of all, we didn't have a real big signature win except for Alabama, but Alabama didn't even get to the playoffs. And so offensively, we never played like we were supposed to play and backed into the playoffs. This year, defensively, it's been not great at all. And now you already have 2 losses, and you're going to need some help on top of needing to go undefeated. And so it's just controlling your own destiny and playing up to your standard and capabilities, and that just needs to look better, and we got to be better. And I want to state again, you are happy about the position that we're in and how we're competing and how it's better than what it was before. But look around. LSU is about to improve. Other schools are about to improve. How are you going to feel if those schools pass you when, in a lot of ways, Tennessee had an advantage and a head start at the start of NIL? Like, yo, them boys over there at Spire had Tennessee in a great position. And the other programs have caught up because, hey, man, it's been a couple of years, and then you have the House settlement. And so we just have to do what we need to do this offseason to make sure that we are one of those top 4 teams in this league. And discipline has to improve. Talent acquisition has to improve. Development has to improve. Everything has to improve. And we've seen the adjustments because offensively, we saw the passing concepts not be where it needed to be last year. Well, they have improved. Look what we're doing. You got 3 receivers with over 100 yards in one game. You got 3 receivers in the top 7 in receiving yards in this conference. You got Joey Aguilar, who came in from UCLA in May, and he's leading the league in passing. So we've seen those adjustments be made from season to season. Offensive line-wise, you are better. Look at Lance Hurd and how he's improved. My man was offensive lineman of the week this past week in the SEC. Look at Kelsey Pope and how he got the receivers playing. Look at Ethan Davis, man, coming off of injury, being a crucial part of this passing game in the red zone, cover 2 versus Kentucky. So we're seeing examples. We're seeing it. It just needs to be more frequent and needs to be throughout your whole entire football team, offense and defense, because the competition is getting better, man. They coming. So we just gotta address the issues and not ignore it like it's the pink elephant in the room, because we're stuck on the fact that it's better than it was under Pruitt. Like, okay, it's better than it was. Cool. All right. But it's time to move forward, and it's time to take a big step forward. And we can't do that doing the same things we've been doing the last 2 or 3 years, because 2022 was 3 years ago. All right, I'm going back to the phones. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, boys. How y'all doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man. Good. How y'all? So, question for you, man. I'm listening. I'm hearing what you're saying. So, my question to you would be, what? I'm not saying you have to go. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. I'm just saying, what would you do if you were the AD or you were the head coach? What would you do differently to get us to the, position ourselves for an SEC championship in general?
Well, your personnel got to be better. I mean, that's first and foremost. Yeah. I think discipline has to be better too. I mean, we can't continue to ignore the fact that you're towards the bottom of the league in penalties each and every year. Like, you can't ignore that. So beating ourselves, like, we gotta be better there. And then, when you see 3rd down and 2 versus Alabama, and everyone's dropping out like it's 3rd down and 27, and Ty Simpson's able to dump to the tight end, a yard or two beyond the line of scrimmage, and he goes run for 10 yards. Yo, that is a problem right there. That is an issue. Yeah. So either the players are not being coached right, or they can't listen, or they're not physically able. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the reason is. You have to get the solution. You got to fix it, whether it's coaching, right, personnel. Like, no one cares about the reason. Heupel and Danny White's job is to fix it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I feel that. that. I really, I agree with what you're saying. Definitely, from what we're seeing, it's got to be some sort of, like, the technique and whatnot. Like, there was a play where Boo Carter gets beat off the line where they score the touchdown, and I mean, they got him up, and he doesn't, reroute the wide receiver, doesn't do anything to kind of jam him. Ends up getting beat on a little split play.
It was a slot fade, Patriot, and listen, yeah, that's the hardest. It's the hardest route to guard in football, is a nickel guarding a slot fade or guarding the slot. But technique wasn't good. The effort could have been better, and so it just has to be better. Like, no one cares about why it didn't happen or how's he feeling. Like, this is a business. Like, no one cares. People want results. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So it just has to be better. I mean, just don't deny it. That's all.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Much
man.
love.
Like, it just has to be better. I mean, because you look around the league and you see what's about to happen. Like, yo, you see what Mike Elko doing? So
looks good.
Yeah, like I said,
I will say we think LSU and Florida are going to get better.
We think so, but
we've also thought that the last couple of years, the last couple of times they've made head coaching changes as well.
Well, LSU has.
I think Georgia's the best example of what you have always preached of Tennessee being ahead, and Tennessee was ahead of Georgia before it hired Kirby Smart and did not take advantage of when. I mean, I think don't you think the Mark Richt comparisons right now are fair? I think they are at the moment.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's exactly where Tennessee is at, quite frankly.
That's fair.
You're not at all in a bad situation, but you're left wanting more and know that you're capable of more. And I think there for a moment, Butch was ahead of Georgia and Mark Richt and did not take advantage of being ahead of them. And they caught up in a major way. So we'll see what happens. I do agree with your point, but what's the AD down at Florida? Strickland?
Yeah, Scott Strickland.
I was wanting to call him Sean Strickland, the UFC fighter, but yeah, Scott Strickland. He's under pressure to make a hire because he is not. His last couple have not been good. So we'll see what they do there. And look, only one of Ole Miss, Florida, and LSU can have Lane Kiffin. So somebody's going to have to pivot and make a different decision there. And if it might be LSU or Florida, if he does decide to leave Ole Miss, the other is going to have to pivot and go somewhere else. And Strickland's track record is not that great the last couple of years. And LSU, like, one thing I'm curious about, and again, I do agree with the point. I just would add that theoretically they're going to get better, but we'll see because there's no guarantee, as we know. But like with LSU, that's a lot of money to get rid of somebody.
They don't care.
So, huh?
They don't care. The governor
said. But do they have A&M and Texas type money to where they can spend the amount of money it's going to take to fire the current coaching staff, hire a new one that's also going to require a lot of money if they hire who they think they're going to hire, and then go build a roster? Does LSU have that much money?
Ben, look at the hires they've made. Like, they went out and said they go big game hunting more than any other program in the country. I
agree.
They went out and got Kim Mulkey. That produced a national championship. They went out and got Jay Johnson from Arizona, who was one of the hottest baseball coaches, right? That's produced 2 national championships. Now, Brian Kelly, they went out and got him. He's a guy who went to a championship game at Notre Dame. It didn't work out. We knew it wasn't going to work out because he's a phony and he's not a good dude. But they went big game hunting to get him. And they're going to do it again, and we'll see how it works out. But LSU, make no bones about it, man. They have a commitment to winning. It don't always work out, but you think about Nick Saban, Les Miles, and Eddie Orgeron have won national championships at LSU. So they're doing something right down there. I don't know if they're going to get this hire right, but you got to give them props for the hires that they've made and the effort they have made and not really caring about the dollar amount. So
I feel you, but the state of college athletics is a little bit different this time around with rev share, and you talked about it. They're kind of the other school in the SEC that prides itself on being the everything school, and they've got a lot of money going to women's basketball, a lot of money going to baseball by those program standards.
Yeah.
They've committed more money to men's basketball this offseason, and then obviously they're committing a lot of money to get rid of Brian Kelly and his staff. They're going to have to commit a lot of money to the current staff. Again, they do big game hunt, so this new coach is going to command a lot of money, $7 to $10 million, and then he's going to have to hire a coaching staff, and then you're going to have to rebuild the roster on top of that. Like, does LSU have that much money?
But think about it. Brian Kelly got fired because one booster said, "I got it. I handle it." I mean, that's all it takes, man. That's all it takes is one booster, and they had the governor involved with Brian Kelly's firing. So,
But now, can you go back to that booster and say, "Hey, do you mind giving me X amount of dollars to help me go get this wide receiver?"
they better call some other boosters. That booster already did his job. Like, I thought we was a team. I can't be doing all the work. I mean,
There's a lot. I'm just like I don't know. I just like maybe I just didn't put LSU in that tier 1 category of money like I viewed Texas and A&M, and maybe I need to redo my thinking. But I mean, there's a lot of money going to a lot of different places at LSU. So I'm just curious to see how it all shakes out, because that's going to be the new question in college athletics. Not just LSU, but like Penn State spending a lot of money to get rid of James Franklin in an era to where you got to be real smart with your money. And what was the hot topic on social media yesterday? The total dollar amount of buyouts for all these fired coaches. I mean, it's at like $170 million for buyouts so far. And we're only halfway through the football season, barely over halfway through the football season. And there's still Hugh Freeze out there. What happens with Shane Beamer? I mean, there's other coaches that might be on the chopping block as well. And I just, in today's day and age of money and having to be real smart with your money, I'm just curious to see how it all transpires, because I do think there are going to be situations to where schools are going to be handicapped at some point because they did spend a lot on a buyout.
Well, here's a point you need to be making. There's a lot of vacancies, and I don't know if there's a lot of really good coaches to fill those vacancies.
Yep.
I mean, there's going to be some disappointed administrations and disappointed fan bases, because you got Florida open, you got LSU open, you got Arkansas open, you got Penn State open, and how many Kurt Cinetti's out there? How many Lane Kiffins out there? How many Kirby Smarts out there? Like, I don't know. Maybe John Summerall is that next name, and I hope, because, hey, man, that's a high school teammate of mine. But, like, is it Kenny Dillingham? Is it
Golish?
Is it Alex Golish? So there's a lot of vacancies, and I don't know how many great coaches are going to fill those vacancies and actually do a good job. But no one should disagree with what I'm saying about what needs to happen with Tennessee. Like, I think we all can agree that it's time to do more, and it's time to be better. Like,
I think the answer is real simple. Quite honestly, I'm not to the point to where I think Tennessee needs a new defensive coordinator. I do think there's a level of complacency that took place over the offseason. That's just my personal opinion. But I do think there are good coaches on the defensive side of the football. Rodney Garner, William Inge. I think Tim Banks is a good coach, even if he has taken a step back this year. Willie Martinez, a good coach. We'll see with Chop. We know Chop's an excellent recruiter, but how does he prove himself just as a developer? You haven't gotten the pass rush consistently that you need this season. That I think that's something that's flown under the radar because of the secondary. Quite honestly, is that the defensive line hasn't been as dominant and as consistent as we've seen at times in the past, or what Tennessee needs it to be, especially with the second and third level of the defense being what it is. But I think the answer is real simple, because I don't think the answer is just firing a bunch of people on that side of the ball. I think it's just you've got to be really aggressive in the transfer portal. I mean, you between this current freshman class, and they have recruited well on the defensive side of the ball, and the upcoming signing class, like you do have a good foundation, I feel, of nice young talent, but there's still going to be holes on that side of the ball, as we know. And I think what you do is you fill in the holes by being aggressive in the portal. I think that's the answer, because you need better personnel. I don't think you need better coaches. I think you need better personnel. And how do you get better personnel that can make an instant impact? Is by being aggressive in the transfer portal.
I think if you're Josh Heupel, man, you eval on everything, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Every single thing. And again,
I agree, but I think the biggest need is better personnel.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think the biggest need is?
The biggest need, I would say personnel, but I think.
How would you address it? Are you going to sit back? I don't think you can sit back and do the whole, we need young guys. Young guys don't have time to be young. I don't want to hear that again this offseason. I mean, even on the offensive side of the ball, what young guy has just like, and when I'm saying young, I'm thinking of like a true freshman having like a major impact. I mean, it's David Sanders Jr., and even he has been injured and missed some games, but he's been good since he's gotten in the flow of things.
Well, this roster is the youngest roster in the league, and like I expected growing pains, 100%. But at the same time, you're in this position for a reason, and so I just think you are self-evaluating everything and everybody, because next year you're going to be entering, year 6, and let me just say this again before folks try to turn this to something that it's not. Josh Heupel's done a really good job here at Tennessee. I like Josh Heupel. We're talking about what we've seen this season and what needs to happen and take the next step and what's going on around Tennessee. So that's the conversation, and no one's talking about firing anybody, anything like that. But I think if you're Josh Heupel, who is a nice dude, like super nice, and maybe too nice, I don't know. But I think you have to evaluate anything and everything. Everything's on the table. Personnel first. I think discipline has to be addressed, because the Boo Carter situation can't happen again. Like, it's affected the defense. It's affected the team. It can't happen. And that's a lesson moving forward. But we can't slide that under the rug like it's not affected the team, especially when you see the play that was not made versus Kentucky. Because, like, we're not having this conversation. Like, we could have had it weeks ago because Boo Carter was still playing. And we saw little things here and there. But when that play happens the way it did, you can't ignore the conversation that we're having right now about the defense and the personnel, because you're having to play him because you don't have anybody else. So we couldn't get away from this conversation. But, yeah, like, we've seen adjustments be made from last season, this season, offense. It just needs to happen again in some other areas. And I'm curious to see kind of how it's going to play out. But in the meantime, Tennessee's in a playoff hunt, man. They're in a playoff run against the best defense in the SEC. It's going to be the best pass rush in the SEC. And this matchup between Tennessee's offensive lineman and Oklahoma's defensive lineman is going to be epic. And it's going to take big play, one-on-one plays being made down the football field that were not made last year at OU. Now, we had Dante Thornton make a big play versus one-on-one, but that was really it. That's why that game was closer than it needed to be. But you got Mike Matthews, you got Browser, who are big play one-on-one guys, and you got Staley, who has been on an absolute heater the last 3 games, over 100 yards in his last 3 games. I mean, he's been unbelievable. So there's a lot of good stuff happening, but there's some other stuff that needs to be addressed, present and in the future, and we're talking about it all. I'm going back to the phones, Ben. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. This is Connor from Georgia.
What's up, Connor?
Y'all doing all right?
I'm good, man.
Hey, Ben, just want to let you know, man, we keep praying for you down here and hope you recover well.
Thank you. I really appreciate you.
Couple quick things I just wanted to hit. I agree with y'all exactly what you were just saying, too. Like, last year the corners are great, and everybody's like, man, Willie Martinez is a good defensive back coach. This year, obviously, he's got less to work with. It's definitely a personnel problem. But
can I stop you? Can I stop you right quick?
Yeah.
It's not just Willie Martinez coaching the secondary. It is a combination of Willie Martinez, a combination of Tim Banks, who works with the safeties, and a combination of Ernest Thomas III, who's assistant secondary coach. That him and Tim Banks are have a really good rapport, and Ernest Thomas, that go by E.T., he's doing a lot of work with the corner. So it's all 3 of those guys working together with the secondary.
Yeah, and it all depends on what you have to work with, too, as far as players and how developed they are and all that. We all understand that. Do you guys think this week, two things I want to hit real quick. Do you think we'll see Pilati a lot this week to kind of spy around the quarterback because of Mateer's speed?
I don't see why we wouldn't see more of him.
Yeah, that dude can close quickly. Second thing I noticed, I don't know if y'all saw this or not. There was a Swain. I know you've talked a lot about Mike Matthews. That you're a fan of Mike Matthews, and
That's my guy.
yeah. So I saw a thing last week where he did like a players interview, and they asked him if there's any former ball he could meet, and he said Jason Swain. And I was like, that can't be the most difficult one to put together.
I've met Mike.
Okay, that's why I was like, I'm not sure how old this video was and everything else going on.
Mike, funny man. Yeah,
I also don't know why he wouldn't want to meet Robert Meacham or Brett Smith instead.
I know, right? Those guys would be better guys to meet. Now, we had Mike Matthews on the locker room. Also, Price asked him a question about our relationship, and so, and him asking that, there's no point in me not saying what I'm about to say, but I've been talking and mentoring Mike for a couple of months now, and so I haven't made it public, anything like that, because I mean, it's no point. But Mike is an unbelievable young man who has unbelievable parents. Parents are athletes, and Mike is a freak and is raw and is still learning the position. I think he has the biggest upside of any receiver we have on our team right now. Mike went through his struggles with the mental hurdles as a freshman. Had some drops this season that we've talked about. He's addressed, and he has a chance to be really special before he leaves here at Tennessee. So, yeah, I was laughing when I saw that because I've been talking to Mike for a while.
Yeah, it made me laugh. I figured you knew each other. I mean, that shouldn't be the most difficult pairing there is out there.
Yeah, I'm so happy for him. I'm so proud of him, man. He's worked his tail off, and man, I'm just thrilled that he's playing the way he's playing right now.
You can see too, as the season's progressed, how he's progressed in his route running.
Yep. And
just the little things you can tell.
Yep.
So, hey, thanks for what you guys do. We appreciate y'all.
Hey, thank you, Connor. Yep. He Meacham, you mentioned Meacham, Ben, but Matthews is further along as a receiver in his second year on campus than Meach was in his second year on campus. And Meach was a first-round pick. Mike Matthews is a better route runner at this stage of his career than Robert Meacham. So, I know some folks have been critical of Mike. I mean, on Josh and Swain, someone sent in a message saying, "Is he a bust?" And I was like, "Really?" And was just cracking up laughing because, he's had a couple drops, but those slant passes he's caught in traffic where his ball's a little high, he reaches up and snatches it. He had a curl route versus Kentucky where he came back to the ball, snatched the ball out the air, and I told him Sunday, I was like, the touchdown wasn't even your best route. To me, it was the curl route because that thing was fluid, and that was a pro-level route. That was a pro rep. And I think he was surprised that I said the touchdown wasn't his best route, but it was that curl route, man. So we're seeing him grow. We're seeing him develop, and he's coachable, and he wants to be good, and he wants to learn, and he understands that this game is mental. And, again, he has an awesome support system, and I'm blessed to be a part of it. Moving forward. Do you think LSU could pull Saban or Meyer out of retirement? No. Saban ain't going anywhere.
LSU doesn't want Urban Meyer.
Yeah, I don't know what Urban Meyer's going to do. You never know what he's going to do. But if I'm either one of those two guys, I don't go anywhere. But Saban definitely is not going anywhere. Miss Terry's already addressed that. Saban's wife. She ain't having it. Jacob says LSU's AD tries for the big name too much and not who's right for the job. Kim wanted to be at LSU. Jay was a great hire, but very easy to get a big name coach to come to LSU baseball. LSU AD has not did a great job in what I've seen. He thinks he's smarter than everyone. He also made a bad hire at A&M with Fisher. Yeah, Woodward was at A&M and hired Jimbo Fisher. I mean,
So his last two head coach hires are Jimbo Fisher and Brian Kelly?
yeah, they've been wrong fits. But, I mean, in the moment, it's like, yo, here's a national championship winning head coach. Like, that was a great hire in the moment, right? But, hey, it was the wrong fit.
I don't think the Jimbo hire was. It was pretty clear that Jimbo was.
In the moment when he first got hired? You think
Yeah, I agree, because the last couple of years at Florida State were not good.
Fair.
He too old. He did not adjust as college football was adjusting. He was very stubborn and stuck in his ways.
Yeah, offense was very antiquated. Yeah.
I mean, I think that LSU is going to make an awesome hire, but there's just no guarantee. You just never know.
Yeah, you never know. It's about fits, man. It's about fits. I mean, Summerall loves Louisiana. This is his second stint at Tulane. I don't know if he can handle that LSU job. I know he played at Kentucky. He's a super loyal dude. Loyalty matters. He would probably, knowing him, he would pick Kentucky over some other jobs that will pay him more money because Kentucky was the only big program that gave him a shot in recruiting. And
he can't go to Kentucky.
He can't go to Kentucky.
He
Kentucky
can't go to
doesn't
Kentucky.
deserve him.
Kentucky does not care about football.
No, he's better than Kentucky. But I just knowing John.
I hear what you're saying, though.
Just knowing John from, my time, we played together in high school, like, values matter to John. And loyalty matters to John. I do know his wife is an Auburn fan. And so he has been on Birmingham radio. I think he was on Next Round Live down there. So
Auburn would be a good fit for him.
A lot of his friends are grew up Auburn fans. Of course, he got Bama fans in there too. But like, there's a lot of Auburn around John, growing up as well too. So I can see Auburn. I can see Arkansas. I can see Kentucky. John's special, man. He's special. All right. Go back to this text box, and then we'll need to take a brief time out. Adam Carter, can't have another offseason where you're not hitting your needs in the portal right or wrong. Like you said, there's too much money involved, and your linebacker core can't look like that. Big Bad Leo says Boo needs to wake up and realize the opportunity he has in front of him. He's probably been told that 100 times, so he's gonna have to figure that part out on his own. Our conversation is not trying to sit here and complain and point finger about who needs to be fired, stuff like that. This conversation is really a conversation I'm pretty sure a lot of people are having about, hey man, like, it's better, but why are we beating ourselves? What? Why are we stuck playing a guy that's not playing hard? What? Huh? What is going on? Like, those are pretty fair conversations I think a lot of people are having, and you have to address that this off season. Like, you just have to. So you got to spend some money, whether it's on personnel or the coach or whatever you got to do, man. You got to do it.
Well, it's just like everybody wanted to fire Dylan Ellerby this time a year ago. I mean, this time a year ago, we were having conversations about how Dylan Ellerby was the worst offensive line coach of all time. And what'd you do? You spent money to go get him David Sanders Jr., lock up David Sanders Jr., make sure he didn't go to Ohio State. Mm-hmm. You went and got Wendell Moy. Mm-hmm. You went and got Sam Pendleton. Mm-hmm. And now look at the offensive line.
Yeah. The attention needs to be the attention that we showed on offense with our personnel. Like, there just needs to be more TLC with defense. And I don't know if Josh Heupel's like, hey, Tim Banks, this is your defense, man. You handle it. Because Coach Fulmer, when he hired Coach Cut and it was Coach Cut and Chavis, he didn't have to worry about either one of those guys. They can just handle it. And so I don't know the dynamic between Heupel and Tim. Does Heupel, is he involved in defensive personnel when they're?
I would hope so.
Is he? I don't know. Some head coaches trust their coordinators to do all that stuff and handle that stuff. But I don't know that dynamic. All I know is it has to be better in 2026. Chef Vol 5 says some fans are calling for Tim Banks' head. What are y'all's opinion? I personally will not call for Tim Banks' head. I'm in a position where I'm not going to be calling for coaches to get fired. Like, I can't do that. Like, that's just not – I just can't put myself in that position. But I will say it's harder for me to defend Tim Banks like I did a couple weeks ago with what happened versus Alabama and what happened versus Kentucky. Like, I can't defend the defensive play. Like, I can't defend it. It's not good.
He's regressed. He has regressed, in my opinion.
So
he was one of the best defensive coordinators in the country last year, and it just doesn't even seem like the same defense this year. And maybe he is just truly handicapped by what's going on in the secondary when you don't have Jermichael McCoy, when you don't have Ricky Gibson. I mean, that changes what you can call, quite frankly, and what you can do. So I don't. If there's a different defensive coordinator in 2026, like I don't think I think Tennessee could upgrade if there was a change of defensive coordinator. I do think that is a possibility, but I also don't think that firing Tim Banks is the only answer. He was one of the best in the country last year. He didn't just forget how to call plays and coach defensive football overnight, but something has changed from last year, whether that's a sense of complacency or whatever. But something has to change. I'm not totally on the fire Tim Banks bus. I think the biggest issue is personnel, which is the coach's fault because they are the ones that brought in the personnel. And like we talked about on offense, something has to change with high school evaluations, maybe being more aggressive in the portal. I think that would solve a lot of issues like we've seen along the offensive line, as I just pointed out. So something's got to change. But I'm not totally at the they need a different defensive coordinator to have success next season.
Yeah, I feel for Tim Banks because Boo Carter was kind of, I don't want to say put in his lap, but Tim Banks ain't the head coach. The head coach made the decision on Boo Carter being a part of this team or not being a part of this team. And the head coach doesn't have to deal with Boo Carter on offense. Tim Banks has to deal with him on defense. And Tim Banks has to deal with Boo Carter with, bust and like an effort at times, and maybe some of the guys not wanting to communicate with him, and it's not been showing on the football field. Like, it's hard for me to just point the finger at Tim Banks and not see that side of it because, again, like, I don't know if Tim Banks is bringing back Boo Carter if he had the option.
But at this point, who's responsible for Boo's playing time? Just because he's on the team doesn't mean he has to play. I know he's.
I mean, who else gonna play? Who else gonna play in this spot?
I'd rather put Jalen McMurray out there than watch him loaf to the football again, or have another defensive bust.
I think that's fair.
So is Willie Martinez making that decision? Is Tim Banks making that decision? Josh Heupel obviously has the ultimate trump card of playing time, but like who continues to put him out there at this point? We're 2 months into the season. I don't care how talented, how much natural talent he has, or trying to keep him happy. At this point, I would hope that he goes to Colorado. And at this point, Deion's not going to want him.
Deion might not be there, buddy. He might step down. But.
I agree. That one's not going well. So like I agree with what you're saying about like Boo was kind of put in Tim Banks' lap, but 2 months into the season, After we've watched the defensive busts and the lack of effort and the teammates respond to him the way that they do, who's responsible for putting Boo in the game? And at this point, who cares if Boo throws a tantrum or gets himself in trouble for not playing at this point? Because that would give you a reason to go ahead and kick him off the team.
865-255-03. Swain Event, fueled by Daddy and Barbecue. Be right back. Guys, you can feel your energy slipping away, losing what makes you, you. It could be low testosterone. Take action now. Low T Center can help reclaim your energy with a quick and simple free T-test. Visit Low T Center and receive pharmaceutical-grade testosterone never compounded like other clinics. Experienced providers increase your testosterone to the level that is just right for you. Treatment is covered by most major insurance with affordable self-pay options available. The best you is waiting. Book your free T-test at trtmvp.com. When you are craving some quality barbecue, there's only one place to go. Dead End Barbecue. Dead End Barbecue has been featured on ESPN's Taste of the Town, the first barbecue restaurant on the SEC Network, CBS Sports, Headline News Tailgate Show, Amazon Prime's The Restaurant Comeback, Food Paradise, and named one of the top 100 barbecue restaurants in America. The search is over. Dead End Barbecue is located on 3621 Sutherland Avenue right here in Knoxville. You can even have it delivered right to your door through Chow Now. Visit their website at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
What's up, Swain Event crew? Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. Fall sports can be a roller coaster ride for us fans. The excitement, drama, and passion will make us crazy sometimes. I can't manage the games, but I can help you manage your real estate needs while you're cheering on the Vols. Reach out at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Trying to get back to the phones here on the Garza Law Hotline. Good morning.
Good morning, Swain.
What's up? What's up?
How's it going, buddy?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Ben, how you doing, bud?
Ben is...
I'm doing well.
Yeah. Good deal. I got a quick question, man. It's Dustin.
What's up, Dustin?
Quick question, big picture question right here. All right. We're talking about having the money, you know, we're competitive, close to Texas, all this other stuff, right?
Yes.
So far in Josh Heupel's tenure, we have not been able to match a good offense with a good defense. Am I wrong in saying that? Our best offenses has been when our defense has been down. Our best defense has been when our offense wasn't productive.
Correct.
Okay, so we're talking about coaches, maybe players. This year, with all the coaching changes, man, the transfer portal should be littered with talent because there's not going to be enough home run coaches to keep all these kids at their schools right now.
Correct.
So there should be some defensive backs. Yep. And there should be some offensive players in the portal that we should go drop some money at and get, correct?
Hey, I don't even want to talk about offensive players, Dustin. We need to be talking about big uglies up front, defensive tackles, big boys. We need to be talking about linebackers, safeties, corners. I think, you know, offensively, I think you're good.
Right, but remember I said big picture because let me get to my next point.
Okay.
Some teams are going to come after our two young wide receivers. Well, that's just going to happen. They're going to see if they can't get Mike Matthews or Staley to come out for a little bit more money. As much production as those two kids are having, somebody's going to say, I think with our home run hire, we could try to go pull him if we want it. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm saying we're going to try to get some. I feel like some people might try to come get our guys, so we got to take care of our guys that we got, the ones that are, producing.
Correct. Yep.
But in the end, Auburn's got some wide receivers, boys, that I'd like to see them in our offense.
Cam Coleman. Cam
yeah,
Coleman.
y'all need to
Swain would buy him a Tennessee Cam Coleman jersey
Y'all
the
need to
moment he signed on the dotted line.
I'm just saying, big picture. If we're nipping on Texas's heels, boy, let's act like Texas and let's spend the money.
Focus, Dustin. Ben, focus. We need defense.
I know we do, man.
You gonna pay Staley. You gonna take care of Staley, okay? You gonna take care of Mike Matthews because Mike is happy, okay? Mike is happy.
Yeah.
And he's improving. He's getting better. He has a great relationship with Kelsey Pope. You're gonna pay those guys. You're gonna take care of him. Tristan Keys is coming, okay?
Yeah.
You got some other receivers coming. Young dudes
Cam Coleman's better than all of them.
You don't need to go to the portal for a receiver.
I know you don't need to.
I
know you don't need
no,
to. But
no.
If Cam Coleman called you,
Nope.
you were not telling him no.
No, you don't need Cam Coleman. You need.
Hey, if you can have your cake and ice cream and eat it too, you know what I mean?
That's why we.
But listen,
That's why we in the position that we in. Because y'all over here thinking about offense and ignoring defense. Defense, guys.
But listen to me. No, I ain't ignoring it. Listen to me. That's the big picture. Big picture. I ain't done yet.
Okay.
We're playing Oklahoma this weekend.
Yeah.
Josh Heupel just needs to go ahead and shoot this thing out with them, beat them somehow, some way. We beat them. Venables done lost to Texas again this year. They get rid of Venables. Hey, we just hire him as a defensive consultant. If nobody wants to get rid of Tim Banks, get him as a consultant. And if you want him as a D coordinator, there you go. How about that? Thank you, boys.
Venables,
appreciate y'all this morning.
You think Brent Venables is going from a head coach to a consultant?
No, he's going to a defensive coordinator somewhere.
Or a head coach somewhere.
If you get Venables, it's because he's your defensive coordinator.
You ain't getting Venables as a consultant. You may get a former offensive coordinator or a former defensive coordinator as a consultant. You're not getting a head coach as a consultant.
And look, you listen here. I am an expert GM, okay?
Y'all want to get a receiver. After the
I'm
conversation
still
going to
take care of the defense.
After the conversation we've had today.
Just like I do on NCAA football. You know the Missouri running back that everybody loves? Ben McKee went and got Ahmad Hardy on NCAA. Also got Ty Simpson, by the way, after Joey Aguilar graduated, won Tennessee a national championship. Ty Simpson came back home to Knoxville, leading the Vols, already 3-0. Ahmad Hardy, toting the rock. I went and I took care of my offense in the offseason. I also took care of the defense. Went and got several transfers on the defensive side of the ball at all three levels. I feel all the areas of need on my football team. I don't pick and choose on one side of the ball or the other. I fill all my needs. Chris Brazzell, top receiver on the board, is going to be going to the next level. If Cam Coleman calls, you're not telling him no. Yeah. But I do feel you do not need, and all jokes aside, you don't need a receiver because you got Matthews and Staley in the third year. Tristan Keys should be able to play right away. And that leads me into Nelson had a question for you earlier on the text box. What are your thoughts on Radarius Jackson and Travis Smith? I know we haven't seen them play a ton, but from what you have seen from them, what are your thoughts on their future?
I like them.
Yeah, so I think the bigger question at receiver is how you're going to play everybody. Because you only play three guys, and you're going to have about 5 or 6 you can play.
That's the issue, man. Yeah, that rotation is not rotating like we thought it was going to. It's kind of been more of what we have seen in the past. Now, if you're one of those 3 receivers, you happy, you're good, it's all good. But that tempo, that offense makes it hard to change in and out receivers the way you probably want to. So I love our young receivers, and more young ballers are coming in, man. Tyreek King's a stud. Celeste Moa is a great athlete. We'll see.
You don't need a receiver from the portal. The only reason you would need a receiver from the portal is if Matthews or Staley, if like they left for some reason.
Yeah, I don't see why they should go anywhere.
I don't think that they will. But in today's day and age of college football, you can't rule it out.
Yeah, you never know. But Brazzell, you hope he goes to the league, and then you roll with someone new in his spot. But You need defense. All right, I'm going back to the phone.
You saying you passed the keys after Brazel gets drafted in the first round? You passed the keys off?
Pass the keys to Tristan Keys. All right, good morning.
Good morning. It sounds like McKee is making a bid to become, Tennessee's general manager for the football program.
Hold on. Time out, C-Mac. I'm going to need you to step your damn energy up this morning, okay? I need you to step it up, man. I need you to bring some energy, C-Mac. My man Ben McKee is on the hold on, C-Mac. Ben McKee is on the show. He has completed cancer treatments. My man is on the show again. Tennessee beat the dog crap out of Kentucky. Baseball is healthy. Everything is healthy. Ben McKee is on the show. You've been here for a long time. You finally get Ben McKee back, and that's the energy you come with on this program. Where's your energy, C-Mac?
You have to understand this. Ben McKee is also the reason for this energy because Ben McKee also manufactured my horrible sports life in the future. I'll give you a really great breakdown very quickly. Ben McKee is the only person responsible, the only person responsible to make sure that I cannot watch baseball for the remainder of my future while I'm in Colorado. The fact that he maneuvered to have Tony V to be the manager of the Giants, who is in the division with the Rockies.
It's Ben's fault.
That's all McKee's fault. So forgive me for being.
No. Wait a minute. We're also going to ignore the fact that I made sure that the Rockies landed 3 Vols for you and Big Shot Rob. We're gonna ignore that the Rockies have Jordan Beck, Seth Halverson, and Chase Dolander.
You right, and I am absolutely thrilled to have those players. But you and I both know it's only a matter of time before Tony V gets that thing rolling with the Giants. All right, and not to mention, who is the one Vol that's on that team?
Drew Gilbert. Well, now Tony Vitello too.
The one Vol.
I'm sorry. Now there's 3, I guess. Tony V, Drew Gilbert, who did get called up, and Titty.
Yes, our guy Blade Tidwell is also in the Giants organization. You just need to become a Giants fan anyways because the Rockies are a terrible organization, and it's just a matter of time before Beck, Dolander, and Halverson get traded anyways.
To the Giants? Yeah, you're absolutely. That's what I'm thinking too. All right, on the real stuff. Before I call, or when I was calling in, your last caller, he towards the end of his call, he was saying something about Venables being a consultant. And Swain,
yes,
your immediate point was head coaches won't do that. I want to challenge that question, or I want to challenge that statement. Okay. Out of the following fired head coaches, all right, who would more than likely could you see joining our staff in the off season? Deshaun Foster, Brent Pry, Billy Napier, or Jay Norvell? Hint.
Not Jay Norvell.
Hint.
I mean, Jay Norvell has
Oklahoma
ties, but we already got a receiver.
Exactly.
We already got a receiver coach. We good there.
But let's take a step back. Jay Norvell, he
lost me with the Dion stuff.
Yeah, he was real cornballish during that time. He was.
I can't lie.
He was tripping, man. He was tripping big time.
Maybe this needs to be that reality check, that for him. Why can't we do the same thing and start rehabbing coaches?
What is wrong with y'all?
What do you mean?
Don't let me into C-Mac's theory.
Stop trying to bring receiver help. We good. You doing it again. You doing the same thing Dustin did last call and Ben tried to do.
I'm not going to let you shame me for wanting Cam Coleman. How dare I want Cam? I didn't say Tennessee. I know you don't. I didn't say you needed him, but boy, would he be fun to watch.
All right, Swain, let me ask you this. That receiver that Texas A&M has this year, I think his first name is Casey. Where did he come from?
He came from NC State.
Well, now where was Tennessee during
his recruitment
that off? Yeah, because like that kid is, I mean,
C-Mac.
that kid good.
C-Mac.
What is going on right now? C-Mac, I'm going to the
What
next
I do?
caller. I'm going to the next caller, C-Mac. It's good to hear from you.
Y'all be good.
We love you, man. We love you. I can't with you. I can't. What's wrong with y'all?
Don't lump me into this. Tennessee does not need receivers.
Well, KC Concepcion, where did he come from? He know damn well he came from NC State because C-Mac's an NC State fan. Well, what was his recruit? We don't need a transfer receiver.
No. Don't lump me in. I never said Tennessee needs receivers, and I'm not going to let you shame me for wanting, which is a different thought than Cam Coleman when he's one of the most talented receivers in the country.
All right, I'm going back to the phones. Good morning.
All right, Swain, this is Justin in Florida. Hear me out, okay? You bring in Cam Coleman. You get Brian Hartline to be wide receiver coach. You get Sam Pittman to coach the O-line. You bring in Howie Roseman to be the GM. What do you think, man? You can't say no to that.
Man, it sounds like you in them Facebook message groups.
Hey, look, I know Swain, Justin, I know Swain shaming me and lumping me into Dustin and C-Mac's calls, but if you offered him Brian Hartline right now, he would take him in a heartbeat.
That dude's about to be a head coach. He about to be a head coach.
Yeah.
But Tennessee doesn't need a receivers coach, though.
We don't. We got three
But you'd take Brian Hartline in a heartbeat.
Yeah, so are we at that point, like, in our program where we just throw out the ridiculous, even though it would never happen, we play the what-if game? How about what if we had a top 30 defense with this offense?
Oh, man. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the focus.
You'd have one less loss right now.
I need y'all to focus. I need everybody to focus.
We'd have one less loss, be competing for an SEC trip to Atlanta. That's what we'd be staring at right now.
Focus, everybody.
Yeah.
Defense.
Like let's fix the fixable.
Yes.
I mean, and here's another one. Okay, so you bring in a Cam Coleman. You gonna tell Tristan Keys, yeah, you're getting huge NIL money. You know, you're really, really talented. You could be the next Cam Coleman. Go ahead and enjoy that bench because we don't really rotate.
Nope, I'm telling Mike Matthews or Braylon Staley, one of them's got to go if I'm bringing in Cam Coleman.
Oh my gosh!
Tristan Keys, Cam Coleman.
What about Travis Smith for Darius Jackson? How you working them in?
Justin, you can't
see ya.
You can't take him.
Gotta go. Somebody's got to go.
Justin, you can't take them serious. They're not serious. They're joking. They're joking.
I get that. I get it, but like, fix the stuff that you can fix. Getting SEC talent on defense.
Yes.
That you should be able to fix. When guys are clearly not fast enough, not quick enough, not big enough to compete in this league, that's a problem. And what's funny is everyone's starting to see it. I mean, the Jaden Perlotti hype that he's getting on that's what an SEC linebacker needs to be speed-wise. Everyone take note. That's what they need to be. Go watch Georgia when they were real good. They had 5 of those guys.
And you know
and they flew around, made plays. We got one guy, and it's like, oh, my God, this is unbelievable. We need more of that. So hope.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm about to say, you know what's even crazier is guys like Perlotti, they don't even play as true freshmen.
Correct.
At Georgia, and Perlotti reminds me of Mayo's athletic ability. Gerard Mayo redshirted his freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, Swain, I do think at places like Georgia and Alabama, you'll start to see the Perlottis more because you're not able to Justin's point about having 5. You're not going to have 5 anymore.
I agree.
You'll have 2 or 3, and then your freshmen are going to have to be your 4th or 5th.
I agree. I'm going to shut up, Justin. Go ahead.
No. You guys are right on track with what I'm trying to say. I mean, but I also do believe that this staff has to plan out their roster better. Like this year, okay, you look at our 2026 class. We've got 3 offensive linemen committed, but we got 4 wide receivers. We took 3 last class. Why are we dumping all that resource into wide receivers? We took 3 O-linemen in David Sanders' class, which was 25, and then we followed up with 3 offensive linemen? Where's the other 2 offensive linemen?
Well, you're gonna have some new starters next year because Lance Hurt might go to the league.
Well, I mean, let's remember that the cycle's not over, and they did have a 4th and had one that decommitted. So I think that they'd like to get 4 or 5 in there, but the cycle's not over, and you have the transfer portal.
Where's the backup when you have 4 committed? Who's your backup?
To what?
If you've only got 4 guys. Last year you took 3. Okay,
Along the offensive line?
Yeah, you had 3 last year. You had 4 committed this year. I was kind of hoping to see 5. And again, it's about planning out your roster. Going big in one position group. I think the following year you kind of need to, balance that out. Maybe you go not necessarily big from an NIL perspective, but you get guys that, okay, we can get a bargain on this kid. They got tons of potential, just need time to develop. What's killing us is the amount of money that we're paying certain positions to sit on the bench. That's not money we're spending at starting positions elsewhere. Am I off on that?
No, you're not. I mean, McCoy has bad luck. You're paying him a lot of money.
Those are injuries that happen.
Yeah. Ricky, you're paying a lot of money too. Boo was
how much we got tied up in safety?
Hopefully not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but I'd be surprised if Farouk or Beasley or Turrentine are commanding a lot of money. I mean, I'm sure they're getting 500 to 700 somewhere in there because that's the going rate for an SEC football player. It seems, but
500,
maybe not that much. I mean, I'm sure they're making a nice.
If that's the case, you pay what's his name? Kid that went to Miami. I always draw blank.
Jacoby Thomas.
Thomas. Yeah, Thomas.
Yeah,
at 500, you pay him to stay
on my numbers, but they're comfortable. Is my point. That was my point. Is that they are comfortable with how much money they are making because they're an SEC football player. Like you're comfortable if you're an SEC football player, but they're not. I don't. My point was I don't think that they're bogging you down on the payroll.
Right. So,
which is probably part of the issue.
Yeah, I mean, I look at production at tight end. I mean, we don't have a ton of money in a guy like Van Dorselier, but as tough as tight end is to come into the SEC and start as a freshman, him and Brame, I think, are doing a freaking great job.
Yeah, I like those.
I mean, they really are.
Yeah, I like.
And yeah, I do too. A linebacker, we've invested there. I mean, Inge obviously sees what some of the issue is because if you look at what he's recruiting, it's athleticism, it's speed. I mean, Rouse, T.J. White. I mean, those guys fly, and they're already coming in at what 6'2", 6'3", 225, 230 pounds. I mean, that's what they are in high school.
Rouse, I mean, we got to find out Georgia Tech. I saw a report this morning that it was even between Tennessee and Georgia Tech.
No, that was Outlaw.
That
was Outlaw. Brandon Outlaw.
Is it Brandon Outlaw? Okay. One of those guys.
Justin, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Because you said you didn't like that Tennessee went out and got 4 receivers for this current cycle.
No. It's not that I don't like it. I would have, with taking 3 last year, and let me tell you something. The guys that you took in this class and last class, there's going to be a logjam because you brought in studs. I mean, I'm a huge Travis Smith, Radarius Jackson, Tristan Keys, Celeste Moa, and Tyreek King fan. Big foam finger. So
Legend
ask
Bacon
your
run.
question.
Well, my question was, which receiver are you telling no to? Because all four of the receivers that they're bringing in are studs to the point that you just made. Now, I think it was Nelson on the text box is already trying to move Celeste Moa to safety. Maybe that's what we can do with Mike Matthews to get Cam Coleman in here. But which of those four receivers are you telling?
Damn, Ben.
I say
hate
that
to say it.
obviously.
No, actually, if you really want to talk about that, our best safety on the team is playing wide receiver, and that's Mike
I
Matthews.
do agree with you. Now that doesn't mean that
Yeah.
Mike Matthews should go play safety.
No, he doesn't want to.
I do agree with you.
Right, he's going to be an NFL wide receiver. So,
maybe Celeste Moa goes and plays safety.
It's possible. I don't see it. I heard he also wants to be a wide receiver. I guess Heupel's the one that's got to make that call. Now let me ask you this. With what you've got in that room over those 2 years, 25 and 26, can all those guys rotate in effectively? Or
not the way that they've been rotating receivers. There's been a non-existent
there you go.
rotation.
What if you took one of those and went out and got an elite safety? I feel like we're taking guys because we can get them and it helps in the recruiting rankings. But if you look at the overall health of the team, is it necessarily the best way to go? And yes, you have to have talent, but when you've got more talent than you can get on the field at a certain position and it's costing you with a deficiency in another position group, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm going to hang up and listen to the rest, guys. Love the show.
Well, I would say, Justin, real quick, that at a place like Tennessee, you can accomplish both. You can go bring you in 4 receivers if you want, and then you can go out and get you a stud safety as well, especially now that you're paying the baseball coach $2 million less. You can take that money right there and give it to a safety just like everybody wanted to. And look, you're checking both boxes. You're getting your receivers in and you're getting your DBs in.
I'm going back to the phones. Good morning.
Yo.
Good morning.
What up, what up?
What's up, man?
How y'all doing, fellas?
Good. Hope you're well, too, man. What you got?
I know we're talking about, the hypotheticals in the future and all that and what we can do, for players in the future. But what can we do now, for the defense to kind of simplify the defense and go try to win the national championship this year? How can we simplify?
Ain't nothing we can do right now.
Oh, yes, there is. Prayer is powerful.
Jamel, this is what you do now. And that's why I was more critical of the offense versus Alabama versus Arkansas than I am defense. Because defense is what it is, okay? It is what it is.
Yeah.
And offensively,
so
you got to...
Can I interrupt you real quick? Can I interrupt you? So is there, from a defensive standpoint and just X's and O's standpoint, because I know Tim Banks his defense is really it's not just easy defense. It's it's thorough a little bit. There's no way that we can simplify it a little bit more. I know it's a college level, and I never coached on that level, so I'm just trying to ask you: is there any way to kind of simplify it a little bit more, where you can get other guys on the field where they're not thinking as much, where they're not, having to dive through plays, or is certain defensive coordinators, they kind of marred to their defense, and it's kind of hard to kind of flex off of what they're doing to simplify certain things? I'm not sure about that because I'm not that, engaged into it that much as I from coach to coach. But is that something you can answer for me? Is it some how offensive coordinators kind of marred to his whatever he does? Are defensive coordinators the same? Can you not switch from a 4-2-5 to a 3-4 style and have zone blitzing on one side and have man on the other? I mean, I'm just wondering. Can you dive in that on them for me real quick? And I'll get off here, fellas. Good hearing from y'all, Ben. Keep up the good fight, big dog.
Appreciate you.
It don't matter what you do from a scheme standpoint. The screen pass that Kentucky scored a touchdown on, should be all you need to know about the majority of the issue. I mean, you need more athletes. Simplifying things, could make it better, but as you simplify things, it's easier for an opposing offense, especially an experienced quarterback, to pick apart. For me, this is not a in-season fix. For me, this is, hey, man, there's going to be feast or famine, boom or bust with this defense. Let's hope to get more booms. Let's get some turnovers. Let's get some sacks. And when we do get a stop, like second half against Kentucky, when we had 2 stops, Kentucky drove the ball. I think Kentucky went for it on 4th down. We stopped them. I want to say that happened. Then they kicked the field goal and missed it because they had a penalty. Like, when those stops happen, offense, you got to go score touchdowns. It's that complementary football. It's that timing that I feel like has to be on point. You can't let the defense get a stop after getting carved up, and then offensively you go 3 and out. That's not going to work. That can't happen. And that happened multiple times against Arkansas. The defense is what it is right now. They're going to get you a touchdown. They're going to get you a couple sacks. They're going to make a big play, but they're going to give up some plays. They're going to give up some points. But when that stop happens, you got to go score touchdowns. They had a 55-yard attempt. It was 4th and 13, and Tennessee stopped them. And then Tennessee went down and scored. That made it from 42-21, it made it 49-21. That's what you got to do. When Oklahoma either beats themselves in the red zone, or we make a play, or they kick a field goal, that next possession, it can't be 3 and out. It has to be a possession when you go down and score. Like, that's what we have to do this season to maximize our opportunities to win games and possibly get into the college football playoff. I don't know if there's a fix for this defense this season.
It's just unfortunate because you're asking the offense to play perfect, because they also have to score when the defense is giving up scores to keep up with the other team. So they've got to score when the other team is scoring. They've got to score when the defense is getting stops. It's putting the offense in a situation to where they have to play perfect football, which is not – it's not a recipe for success.
Nope.
Team success.
Nope. Kentucky, their first possession, it was 2nd and 20. They had a penalty, had a holding call, and then they kicked the 22-yard punt out of bounds. And then what did Tennessee go do? Tennessee hit Mike Matthews for 62 yards on a touchdown. So those 2 possessions where Kentucky failed to score, Tennessee scored touchdowns. That's what has to happen. Need to be more yin and yang with offense and defense for Tennessee. But I don't think you're fixing anything in a major way with the defense. I'm sorry. I don't see that happening. And that's just me being.
I think maybe your one hope is the defensive line it becomes more disruptive as the season wears on. I think that might be your only hope. Josephs, Ross, Herring take another step. Hobbs, Moy, Bailey, Ethan, and the rest of the crew, they take another step. I do think there's another step that the defensive line and edge rushers can take. If they take that step, then maybe and become more disruptive, maybe you're able to find a little more success defensively.
Thursday, Swain Event will be back. Swain Event fueled by Daddy and Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. You kind of get a little chippy, huh? Ben McKee? Get a little chippy, man. I like it. Man. It's going to be good atmosphere for some SEC football. like it. It's going to be good. We'll talk more about the matchup on Thursday here in the Swain Event. Big ups to Ben McKee. Good to have you back. It's cool to see Rick Barnes and Coach Heupel giving you love there at the press conference, man. I know that's where you want to be. There's not another place you want to be more in the world than covering Tennessee athletics outside of spending time with your family. So it's good to see you where you belong, my man. Much love.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for the interaction. We appreciate you. Peace and much love. We are out.